All right, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to the Friday Night Prepper pre-party show. Tonight, I've got two awesome guests. I'm going to introduce them in just a second. We were having a blast backstage talking about conspiracy theories and firearms and beer and shots and all kinds of fun things. So we're going to get all the things. We're going to give you guys a good show. Thank you so much. I see Lee and Sassy are already here. Old Man Jenkins, thank you for joining us. Appreciate you.
Thanks.
We have a couple things to that I always start off with. Number one, always ask that people please be kind to my guests. You are more than welcome to throw some shade at me or give me a hard time, but please be kind to my guests and be kind to the mods. Both of them give their time freely, and we're sure to appreciate it. If you enjoy what you see tonight, please consider not only subscribing here, but also to Pirate Stacker and Fish, although Fish may tell you he doesn't want subscribers. We'll get to that in just a minute.
Ridiculous.
And at any point during the video, if you feel like blessing me with a thumbs up, I sure do appreciate it. And if you have any questions, last thing here, if you have any questions, go ahead and throw them in caps as we go. We'll try to catch them as we go. All right, let me start with you, Fish. How are you doing today, brother?
I'm doing great. I was up bright and early, about 5 a.m. because I had to be on the golf course with Pirate. We were hitting the links at about we had tea time at 7 o'clock, so when you get older, you can't just like get up and go. You got to get up and take care of all your business and eat a little food and kind of get settled before you head out, so then we hit a little golf. We did 18 holes in about 3 hours.
Awesome.
Then I got in a little work, then I came home, and now I'm here.
So how's the weather down there? Do you guys care if I say what state you're in?
Well, yeah, no, everyone knows where we're at.
Most people know, right? Yeah,
Florida. Right, it's warm and sunny. You wish you were here, I promise.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so bad here in South Carolina either. I mean, we've been in the high 70s, low 80s, so it's been pretty good. Although it rained today.
I thought you were Canadian for some reason.
I'm actually of Canadian descent. Like that's where my family came into the United States. So I might have mentioned that at some point. Yeah.
Excellent.
Fish, tell us about your channel and your content. Where can people find you?
Let's see. That's a good question. I'm at Fish, but I think my channel is actually at Bionic Fishy Fish. Or no, am I at Fishy Smalls? I don't even know. Let me look at my channel.
At Fishy Smalls on YouTube, but
okay.
At Bionic Fishy Fish on Instagram.
Okay, I'm at Fishy Smalls. Yeah, at Fishy Smalls on YouTube is my channel. I've been around since like 2020. I started, I think, in February. And then it was like perfect timing because then right after that, the pandemic hit and I had like a lot of time to make content. But I started making videos in 2020 and then I nuked my channel sometime in, I don't remember, late 2021. Had a bunch of life stuff going on. Came back as Fish and, same guy doing the same stuff, just new channel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Golden Spike Stackers is here. Thank you. Appreciate it. Kason, good to see you. Bullion Addict, good to see you. Somebody mentioned here a second ago that it's hard to find. Bullion Addict says it's hard to find your channel. I agree. You change your name so many times, man. It gets hard to track you down.
Well, so this is a pro tip for anyone who wants to stay incognito is you make your name different than your channel name. So like your YouTube at such and such, and then make your name different. So then everyone searches for Fish and that'll get them nothing. So they can't find me. I make it difficult. That's a pro tip.
We're going to come back to that one.
Okay.
All right. Pirate Stacker, how you doing, brother?
Super difficult. Yeah, I'm great, man.
Tell us a little bit. We lost him. All right, we'll get Pirate back on. Hang on there, guys.
Yeah.
All right, so while we're waiting for Pirate, then what is this about wanting to keep your channel small? What's that all about?
So basically, it's like this. I really enjoy the community, right? Mm-hmm. But there's only some, like, I don't mind if people sub my channel and then I get to know them. That's all good. I just have no desire to have like thousands of subs. I kind of view the YouTube community different than I think most people do. They view it from the standpoint of growing their channel. Mm-hmm. I view it from the standpoint of making friends, interacting with people, and just having a good time. Like it's me and my bros.
Yeah, so it's a social thing for you.
Exactly. And the unfortunate side of YouTube is that I'm not able to make it private. Like, I would love it if I could do it like my Instagram account where it's private, and then I could have 100 people or 200 people, whatever, whoever wants to hang out, that's fine, however many that is. But the reality is there's only probably consistently 200 people that consistently watch my videos. So why do I need 1,000 subs? Why do I need 5,000 subs? Why do I need 10,000 subs? There's only 200 people that I interact with, and those are literally the only people I care about, is the ones I interact with. So it doesn't mean people can't join, but if they're not going to interact with me, then I don't know you, so I don't care about you.
Okay. Fish is selfish like that.
No, it's just I don't know them, so I'm not in it for the money. I'm not in it for, so I just it's not a I don't want to discourage people from joining my channel. That's fine, but I just don't need numbers. I'm not looking for clicks or likes. I don't monetize any of my videos, so but I am monetized.
Totally get it.
Yeah, that's it. It's kind of simple, but kind of weird, I guess.
Yeah, no, you like bantering with friends and yeah, I get it. It makes sense. Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
Hey, welcome back, Pirate Stacker.
That was sorry. I was trying to see everyone's chats and then I hit the wrong button and it bumped me. But I'm back. I'm back now. What? So you were wondering about my channel? Yes.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, my channel. I started 2020. It was August 2020. Pandemic was in full effect. And at that point in time, the prepper in me was like, bro, they've made this whole country shut down and wear masks. I never thought I would see that in my lifetime. I better really start prepping hard. And that's what actually pushed the silver and gold. So, I jumped into that May, June. I was starting to look into it because I was like, government overreach, man, it's coming. And that might be the conspiracy theorist in me, but I want to be prepped for everything. So that's what pushed me in. And then I was just like, you know what? Everybody is showing their big packages they're bringing in. I'm not doing that because I don't got that kind of money for it. It wasn't my priority. And I was like, I'm going to just document my journey. And it really was a hobby for me, kind of an outlet. I work a lot. And so for me, this wasn't my first YouTube channel. I'd had a foray into it before, but this one, I knew what I wanted to talk about and share. And so, yeah, I was just being me. And here we are 2 years later, 2.5 years later, still here being me.
Yeah, you had a cooking channel, right?
Yeah, so I was on MasterChef season 8, did a cupcake battle. They flew me out to Hollywood, all that stuff. And after that, I was doing cooking videos, just kind of having fun with it and kind of capitalizing on my 15 seconds of fame. And it kind of evolved into a hodgepodge of just stuff. And then I got bored with it and busy with life and just kind of abandoned it. Had a couple thousand subs, but this was much more focused, very now what I'm interested in, what I wanted to talk about and do. And so it was a lot more focused to be able to just get in and have fun, make it happen. So here we are.
Here we are. I started around the same time as you guys. I have a couple of videos that were in there before that, but I wasn't really being serious about it. I was just kind of throwing stuff up for fun. And then I started to get serious about it in 2020. And actually, you two were two of the earliest channels that I connected with. Fish was actually the first channel that sent me postal mail. And that was, he sent me some stickers for my dad. But around that time, right? So that spring of 2020, if we kind of go back in our minds here for a second and everything was shutting down, we also saw this huge explosion in people getting interested in precious metals at that time, more so than I've seen in a long time. I've been stacking since 2009. And, a lot of new channels popped up. Most of them have kind of, they're still out there, but they're not putting out new content and that kind of thing. And then what do you guys think that was? Do you think it was like people were afraid that like this was like a big collapse coming? Then, I mean, I think that's still a possibility, but do you think that that's what drove that?
So I 100% think that's what drove that, was fear of the unknown. You know, the narrative on TV every day was people are dying. What's next? We don't know where, we don't know how, we don't know why, we don't have any answers. So in my mind, that was everybody being like, what's next? What could possibly happen? I know they pushed the idea that everybody had extra stimulus money and they were just looking for somewhere to put it. I don't think that was the case. I think they'd have bought their Pokemon cards and everything else if that was the case. I think people were genuinely, I won't say scared, but I think at that point in time, it opened up the possibility that there could be something out there that I'm not aware of, and I need to get prepared somewhat in some case or reason. That's just my thought.
I think there's some of that, but I honestly think it's just more simple. Like, a lot of people had a lot of time on their hands, and you had a lot of clever marketing. I mean, all the bullion dealers totally capitalized on, you know, if you think of all the different series and everything that came out and the way everything was pushed, it was just kind of like a perfect storm of, you know, as YouTube and the stacking community grew, you have all these people now finding it, and it just kind of exploded everywhere. Then you got, I mean, there's other stuff too, right? People are showing their stuff on TikTok. They're showing their stuff on Instagram. I mean, it was everywhere, and it just kind of took off the way other things tend to just take off. You know, I mean, there's a lot of different crazes that take off and then they kind of die down. And I think you're seeing it die down because a lot of people overspent and they really don't have that, you know, when you take all of your money that you're supposed to be saving and you put 100% of it into precious metals, well, that's not going to work out. You know, you have no savings other than the precious metals, which you're then going to have to spend because everyone has to use their savings for something sometime. So, you know, I think that, you know, but I don't think Pirate's wrong either, as far as, you know, there was a lot of fear and there's just a lot of uncertainty and then, but, you know, precious metals is an amazing way to save money. So while you have all that fear and uncertainty, and then you have all this marketing and you have all this stuff coming together, people found it and people love it. You know, it's an awesome way to save money. It's an awesome way to stack for the future. It's just a great tool as part of a bigger, you know, I believe in diversification, as I know you do, Sarge, but
Absolutely.
You know, it's one of the tools we have. And I think when people discover it, they realize, like, it's the only, to me, I mean, trading stocks and stuff can be fun, but it's kind of like the gambler in you. But yeah, precious metals is like the one way you can save money, and it's flat out fun. You know what I'm saying? It's different. You know, it's a hobby in addition to building a sound financial structure to your life.
Well, and I think a big part of the appeal to that, I mean, a guy like me, I prep, but I consider myself to be a pretty frugal person. I don't just go buy things randomly all the time or things I want. And when you get into metals, it gives you that justification. For me, I'm like, hey, I really enjoy spending money on this stuff, but it's for a good cause because I'm better off for having it. Right. And so it kind of gives you that green light of, hey, that's really cool, and I enjoy buying things, and I can justify this because it's, you know, sound money for down the road. And that's, you know, for me, a lot of that early on was like, I don't need this Spider-Man silver, but man, it's silver, and let's buy it. Let's collect the set like everybody else. And you know, that became a real easy justification for me. And for better or worse, I have a stack because of it, you know, and you learn as you go. But yeah, that's, I don't think there's a wrong reason to get into silver or gold. I think we all evolve as we do get into it and find what we like and prefer. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There's something about that. I can still remember, you know, that first time when you got your first couple ounces in your hand and like you feel that real money, right? there's something it does inside your brain. Like it's like a big dopamine hit. Because, you know, paper currency, yeah, it's nice. I like my, you know, $20 bills and everything like that. But when you hold silver in your hand or you hold gold in your hand and you understand the history of it, and that this is, you know, gold and silver has survived the collapse of empire after empire, civilization after civilization. And some of the gold that's in our hands, some of the silver that's in our hands today has been melted and passed down and remelted and passed down for thousands of years. So it does something inside your brain when you first hold those first couple ounces and you're like, I want more, you know, my precious, you know. And
well, you gain a real appreciation for the history of it as well, because honestly, I mean, until I actually started holding $200 or 200-year-old American coins, I never even gave them a thought. It wasn't even on my radar. And when you hold a coin like that and you go, man, 1821, what was happening? What could they buy with this? How many people bought stuff with this? It's worn from having been handled by that many hands. Yeah. It really is a really fascinating thing to kind of trip down, because you know, you don't really think about that in everyday life. So you definitely gain a new respect for, you know, what it is, what it's been through, the history that created it, and that's a really neat angle with coins in general. I mean,
I'm very shallow. I just turn into that dude that my precious. That's me. I'm like, the history is nice and everything. I just love mass quantities of gold and silver. That's it. Mass quantities of gold and silver. I mean, it's the greatest.
Yeah.
And the more you hold in your hand at one time, it's just like, it's incredible, you know? Yeah. And it's so heavy.
See, yeah. I don't know what mass quantities of gold.
You know, Pirate knows what mass quantities is. He knows what mass quantities. I mean, like mass quantities, right? Like you hold 100 ounces in your hand, right? 100 ounces. You've held 100 ounces. That's amazing. You know?
It's cool. Yeah.
I mean, you've shown your tubes of eagles, like a full tube of eagles. When you have in your, I mean, it's cool. It's just fun. Like I do like the history and I love coins, but I just like you mentioned something there, Sarge, about the newness of it, right? That first time. And I did a live stream the other day with Stack in the South. And one of the reasons I did that was like, I love his channel because he's new to the community. And he still has that newness, right? He's still in that kind of honeymoon phase. And so when you watch his videos, you just see the passion, and it makes me remember that, because you only have one first, right? Once you've held a whole bunch of silver and gold, I still love it, but it's not the same. It's not the same as that first time, like you were talking about, when you held a couple silver eagles and you're just like, this is amazing. Yeah. You know, you only have that once, and then that kind of wears off, but I remember it, and it's pretty awesome. So yeah.
Yeah. Got a question here. Jenkins wants to know, how do you like your steak?
Medium rare. What's up?
Yeah, exactly. Medium rare. Yeah. Oh, I forgot. I typed a question to Jinx, and then I forgot to hit send.
Oh, I'm glad.
So Jinx, actually, old man Jenkins, I call him Jinx. He's an OG of the Fish channel. He ordered Surf and Turf just for this live stream to arrive at 8 o'clock. So he I think he has us on the Jumbotron, you know, at the house, and he's having Surf and Turf. So I asked him, like, what's the frosty beverage? Because I'm having a Guinness. If I'm going to be completely honest, I'm drinking a Guinness right now.
Diet Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew. Bummer.
Total bummer.
But you got to wake up early because you're out of here.
I do. I'd be pounding shots normally, but yeah, I'm headed on a boat in the morning. So I got a 3.5-hour drive, and then I'm on a boat. So
not just because he's a pirate.
Yeah, not because I'm pirating. Not this time. It's a family trip.
I'm scanning chat here. Thank you, everybody in chat. I see a lot of new faces and old faces. Appreciate everybody for showing up here. I'm trying to see if I'm trying to catch any questions. Again, if you have questions, throw them in caps. We'll do our best. So recently I did a video talking about my stacking strategy, which is primarily I go after the sovereign coins, and there is a higher premium for that than if you buy, say, bars or generic rounds. But I explained my strategy, which is basically like, I like that. I'm willing to pay a little bit more premium for that because I like that those are I could jump on a plane and sell them anywhere in the world. What about you guys? I don't care who wants to go first, but like, do you have a strategy that you try to follow?
Go ahead, Fish. Lay it on.
Well, I followed every, like Pirate mentioned about the evolution of the stacker. I would say as it pertains to right now, my current strategy right now is low premium silver and low premium gold. And that's just what I go after. So I mainly stack kilo bars of silver and I stack quarter ounce gold. I like the size, and you can find deals out there. And when I buy them locally at my dealer, like a couple of the last quarter ounces I got it for $13.50 over spot each. So when you're buying quarter ounce gold for $13.50 over spot, that's like $53 on the ounce. I mean, that's cheaper than buying an ounce of gold online. So that's what I go for. I think I wasn't always that way, but I've kind of evolved into that. It's just low premium silver and low premium gold. And when it relates to my, it's just bullion. Aside from that, I like numismatics. I like to stack gold numismatics because they have the backstop of gold. Plus, you have the numismatic value. So you can pick up, say, an example is like a $5 Liberty. You might pick one up for $600. It's got a melt value of like $440. So you have a backstop in the melt value, but you have a numismatic value that could be $800, $900, $1,000 one day. And that's only going to grow because they're just rare gold coins. And the same with silver, but silver doesn't have the backstop. It's much more speculative as far as, it's just straight numismatics with silver because, you like, I thought I had one on the table here. Yeah, I just got this from Pirate. So that's a Carson City, so that's like a $450 slab Morgan in MS63 PCGS, but the melt value in that is like nothing. You got like $14 in silver, or if that. So silver, it's a little different, but the gold numismatics I think is awesome. But pretty much when it comes to stacking, low premium silver, low premium gold. That's the way I attack.
So before I go on to Pirate here, did you say you got that quarter ounce at that price at a local coin shop?
Yeah.
Dang. Do you want to shout them out or no?
No, not really.
No, he doesn't want everybody knowing their stuff.
All right.
I will say Pirate knows who it is. Pirate knows who my bullion dealer is. But the thing is, so there are coin shops and you don't get as great a deals, but I deal with a guy that's a bullion dealer in Florida, and he's just straight bullion. So he buys at the lowest prices, but he sells at the lowest prices. So he's great to buy from. You don't necessarily want to sell to him unless, metals are pumping. But I believe, just kind of a side note, then let Pirate answer, but when you're dealing with coin dealers or bullion dealers, you need to buy and sell. You don't, if you're only buying from them, you're never going to get the good deals. But I've had my bullion dealer call me and be like, hey, Fish, I need, do you got any of this? Because there were times where there was like shortages and no one was selling stuff. And I'm like, yeah, man, I got you covered. I went in there and I sold him, I think like 2 ounces of gold one time in fractional gold. And he gave me a good deal and he was able to sell it. And so he always gives me good deals. So being able to sell, being able to buy and sell, or you should buy and sell from your dealers. Don't just buy. I mean, I certainly buy much more than I sell to him, but if you never sell to your dealers, you're never going to get good deals. You got to be a resource to them, not just them a resource to you.
Yeah, build relationships, set yourself apart for sure.
Cool. Well, if I come down and visit you guys, will you take me there, Fish?
I absolutely will.
All right, I'm doing it then.
Yeah,
we got a load of shops. I mean, literally, I know I show a lot off, but within 20 minutes of my house, I got a dozen coin shops. So,
wow.
I mean, it's really nice because there's a lot of options. So,
Florida's like the mecca of bullion. We got so much down here. Everybody stacks.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, thank you so much for the super chat, Jenkins. Really appreciate it. The video was delayed. I'm at work, so I have to water. I have water with my surf and turf fish. He's caught up.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, what's your strategy, Pirate?
Yeah, so Fish and I are not the same. Fish is like the CEO of a big company, and I'm like the taco man in the shack on the beach. So I stack much more sparingly, and I currently have shifted gears a little bit. My 2023 currently, I'm really not buying any silver. There's some deals are just too good to pass on, but my goals are very minimal on silver. Gold is a priority for me, and it was initially a 1/4 ounce a month this year, but I've pulled that back to a 1/10 a month. And for me, numismatics has just been more fun. So I have a small pile of silver. It sits and does nothing. I have a small pile of gold, very small pile. It also sits and does nothing, but it's beautiful, and I look at it often. But the numismatics, man, anywhere I go, it's a new treasure hunt. And the beauty of it is I can stick it away for a future day when it's worth more money. I can flip it now when it's worth more money to get into something else, for a lower cost. So there's just so much more going on with it that for me, because I get bored easily and I have what I feel comfortable with, behind me. This is really my investments because I'm not diversified. I've done stocks, I've done crypto. I dislike both, and honestly, I feel like both are coming to new record lows sooner than later. So for me, I feel comfortable with numismatics, man, and I like investing in that. I think it has a lot of upside, and in the downside, I can sit on it and enjoy it and share it with my friends and family, and that's really what I'm about. So I mean, stack wise, I'm probably 50% numismatic, like 30% gold, 20% silver at this point. And I'm happy with that. Now, I will tell you, the prepper in me right now, like my senses are tingling. I'm prepping hard right now. I have a good base prep. There's a lot of things I try to do, in small ways, such as, and I speak about this stuff, but just simple things. If something breaks down and I need a tool or a part or a piece, I'll try and buy 2 of them and stick one in the garage and just have it. And that's a really simple way to prepare for the unknown, right? And at the very least, it's there when it breaks the next time. On the flip side of that, who knows? Who knows what could happen down the road? But it's there. And I had the money free. And food storage is the same for me. It's not like I'm not going to eat it. I'm going to eat it at some point, but it's there to cover my back in the meantime. So that's been, I've been ramping up on my food storage, but I love metals, man. There's nothing more fun than going in and looking at what they got and oohing and ahhing over a new piece that you got to have, right? I mean, that's the hobby of it. That's the fun of it. So that's where I'm at, if that answers that question.
Well, just to add something to what Pirate said. So when Pirate says he has a small stack or he doesn't, whatever, a modest or whatever, it's relative. Most people have nothing.
Yeah.
Right. They have nothing, right? So what Pirate has is actually freaking amazing. And then the other thing I want to say is just as it relates to your stacking style, Sarge, I absolutely love it. I can never do it, but every once in a while when I'm thinking like, oh, I'm going to pick up like, drop maybe a significant amount on silver, I think, man, I should just find the lowest price I can buy on Eagles and just buy a bunch of Eagles or whatever, because having a completely sovereign mint stack is just cool. And I absolutely see the benefit of it. Not the way I stack. There's cheaper silver out there, but it's not wrong. I'll say that. It's not wrong.
Yeah, well, and I go back and forth in my head a lot. I think the bars look really cool, and I've debated, do I have the right strategy? If there's anything I would do different, and I'm going to ask you guys what you would do different if you were started over. If there's anything I would do different, if I could go back to 2009 when I started stacking, I would have gone harder into gold, and instead of been like 90-10 silver to gold, I would have tried to get 50-50, even if it meant I was getting less you know, things that you would do. You know, what about you guys? Is there anything you do different if you started over?
So many things. The gold's a good one because I was literally like, I can get 10 ounces of silver or I can get 1/10 of gold. Look at all this silver. And so I think that's kind of human nature. Gold definitely didn't have the respect it needed. My other thing is simplification. You know, it's fun and exciting to collect the series and do this and do that. The truth of the matter is, if I'm not here to move that product, all of that is spot silver. And for my wife or my kids or anybody else, that's spot silver. Yeah. And so I really wish that I would have learned that generic or whatever situation earlier, rather than spend the money on all the fancy stuff, then take the time to sell the fancy stuff. And then now I'm trying to streamline. So that would really be it. You know, stack your base as close to spot as possible, and more gold for sure. So,
yeah, I mean, more gold is always is always a good answer. I started in 2003. I was buying Eagles at $6. So I really wish I would have just gone into the monster box craze and just stacking monster boxes after, you know, and just I mean. Could you imagine
so
it?
Crazy. $6.
Yeah, I mean, when like I sold a bunch of Eagles 6 months ago, and I sold them, and I sold some a year ago, and you know, I sold some for 32 an ounce. I got 34 an ounce. I got 27 an ounce. I got 29 an ounce. I mean, you're getting 27 to 34 an ounce. I could have bought that. I could have had so many monster boxes of Eagles. So that's kind of like hindsight 2020. It's really hard to predict that. I think the wisest thing would have been to maybe go a little heavier into gold, but really, if you really want to ask the old hindsight, what I wish I would have done is I wish I would have been into numismatics. I should have been stacking every freaking Carson City Morgan I could have found back in 2003. I should have. I mean, there is the values of the numismatics have just shot through the roof, and that's not really a stacking prepping thing. And that's like Pirate talks about it's more an investment for him, and it absolutely is. But that's my biggest regret is that I just looked at that stuff like, what, are they crazy? They want $100 for I mean, some of those ones they wanted $100 for are like $900 now. I mean, the returns on key dates of all the old numismatics are just insane, and there was so much to be had for a good price. But the gold, I mean, there's a guy in the chat. I'm not going to reveal him, but I'm looking at him right now, and he, I know he was buying ounces of gold at $325 an ounce.
Wow.
Yeah, he was smart, and he bought a bunch of them.
Here's a question for you, because I didn't jump in till 2020 stacking. Back in 2003, when you saw Eagles at $6 an ounce, was it just in your mind it was always going to be at $6 an ounce? Like, no, you didn't see the realm that would go up? Because I look at that and I'd be like, I mean, now we look at that and we go, $6 an ounce, you idiot. Why weren't you buying tubes of it, right?
Right.
But back then, was it just like it would always be that way, or it just really wasn't a concern, or what? What was the mindset?
Well, I think you got to put it in context, right? So I got married in '93, and my first apartment rent was like $320, and gold was $320 an ounce. And then recently, you know, gold's like 2,000 an ounce. And when I was in between houses, because we sold the one house and we were getting into a new house, and I rented, and my not my mortgage, but my rent at the temporary place I was at was like $1,700. It was like an ounce of gold. So to live in a house has always been an ounce of gold, right? Whether it was back in '93 or whether it was now. So my point in that is $6 silver in 2003 seemed expensive.
It's all relative, right?
It doesn't seem expensive now, but you know, I mean, neither does my Silverado like a Silverado that I drive, that if you want to buy a brand new Silverado like I drive right now, you know, you go drop $60K. I mean, it's crazy, right? Where you could have bought that for $19K, you know? So it's kind of like, it's just, you know, it's wherever you're at, it always seems a lot when you're sacrificing out of your budget for the amount you make, and you're putting that into something, you know, it's always a sacrifice. But I wish I would have been more into saving back then than now I'm really into it, but I wish, I would have done more, but it's just, it's always, anytime it's a sacrifice, it's a sacrifice. So to buy tubes of Eagles back then was a sacrifice, even at $6 an Eagle.
Right.
So Fish, Lee had a comment here that I wanted to hit you up on this, because I know you know a lot about this, and I know very, very little about this. The gold pesos, right?
Yes.
You've got a pretty good stack of those, right?
The gold pesos. What's the question about?
Well, what can you tell us about them? I see them for sale on the online stores. I don't know if it's a good buy versus, like, say, like a 10th ounce of gold or whatever.
Yeah. There's no good buys. They're all gone. So I stacked gold pesos really hard in 2020 and 2021. And, like, as an example, you could get a dose peso, which is 0.0482 ounces of gold. And you could, you were buying it, super cheap, like down at $85-$90. And a dose of medio, which, maybe you're like 110, that's like 0.63 or something or whatever. Now you're, for a 0.0482 ounces of gold, you're paying like $115. The premium is insane. And I just stopped stacking them because they used to be the cheapest stuff on the market. And then all of a sudden, I think, like, going back to what you talked about in the beginning, like, the whole stacking community really seemed to take off and grow in 2020. They had a bunch of cheap gold that was out there, and suddenly it wasn't cheap anymore. And for whatever reason, Mexican gold is no longer cheap. It's premium gold, which to me makes no sense. It's 90% gold. It's like your 20 francs. It's like, your 10 guilders. It's like all that stuff that you should be able to buy, for inexpensive. I can still buy it from my bullion dealer for inexpensive if he gets it in, because he's going to pay probably 3% below spot, and then he'll sell it at spot. But that's only if he gets it in. If I have to buy it online, you used to be able to buy it online cheap. You can't anymore. So I don't think it's a good. For me, it's not low premium. It's more expensive than a lot of the other stuff out there. But it's cool. It's really cool.
I've noticed there's a huge affinity towards Mexican everything. Libertads are like their own collectible within the community. Yeah. And even any kind of Mexican silver or gold. I don't know if it's that they got the awesome snake or the winged lady. Like, they're cool coins. They are cool, but they really have a huge fan base of collectors after all things Mexican. So, I love tacos, so I get it. Like, there's a lot to love down there.
Hey, sorry. Hey, sorry. Do you want to take Bacon's question there?
No, I don't.
Okay, just checking. I was checking for a friend.
Checking for a friend. I think if you go down there, you can ask that question, Bacon, and it's probably going to work out okay for you. Just be careful. So, all right. So that's the pesos issue. What do you think? What do you guys think's going on with, like, I feel like I can feel confident in saying that gold is going to continue to go up over the next few years. I just can't say that with the same confidence on silver, even though, like, everything we know about it, that's an industrial metal, it has medical uses. That, some people say we've passed peak gold. Other people say not yet, it's coming. But what do you guys think is the issue there? Why does silver not keep pace with gold in the last, like, 5-6 years?
Pirate's got a strong opinion on this.
One reason only: manipulation. This is clearly silver is being manipulated by corporate beings. And my personal opinion, it doesn't make any sense for silver to ever be sub $20, ever. I don't know why it is. The only thing I can correlate to that is when it drops down, paper silver that gets printed on the stock market, you get a lot of buyers. When it drops down super low, you get a lot of buyers. And as long as they keep it from going up to 30, you get a lot of people waiting for it to go up to 30. Soon as it starts getting high, and these days I feel like soon as it starts getting to 25, 26, people want to sell out.
Yep.
And so whoever the powers that be, and look, here's the thing, JP Morgan Chase and those businesses, they pay yearly fines to the government for selling silver they don't hold. So it's a known quantity. They were supposed to only sell stock for silver that was held in reserves.
Yeah.
And we all know that they've sold way more than what they're holding, but it's good business for them to just pay the fines and keep making money. And so, I mean, for me, conspiracy theory or not, the market's clearly manipulated by corporate money. I think it will continue to be so. And I think the difference between that and gold, which I also believe gold's manipulated, but on a global scale, you've got too many countries that value gold too much to let corporate money mess with it in its entirety. I don't think that they can do to it what they've been doing to silver. And so that's my personal opinion, is it's pure market manipulation.
Yeah.
So I agree more or less with what Pirate's saying. I don't really disagree with that. And you can't. I mean, how can you disagree that it's not manipulated when you look at the various lawsuits that the government brings against banks and different things, and people get busted and stuff. But when you talk about silver in the future, so I'm not like a silver to the moon guy at all. Never have been that. But this is my, I don't want to say prediction, but this is kind of a scenario I can see happening. Right, I can just see this playing out. Right now, the dollar has just been getting pumped up, basically because, you know, the Fed is trying to crush inflation, right? So we know as the dollar rises, what we've learned over the past little while is most stockers have stopped saying silver is a hedge against inflation, and they now say, which is much more accurate to say, that silver is a hedge against a weak dollar. So when the dollar goes down, silver goes up. Well, the dollar is not going to go down for a little while, but I believe we're going to boomerang out of this thing. And I don't think it's unreasonable to see $30, $40, $50 silver. And I don't think that's saying silver is going to the moon. I just think that in time, when inflation finally gets under control, right, and and you see the dollar go down, you know, from we're like 105 today or 106, somewhere in that range, and you see it down under $1, and then you see it under 90, you see it under 80. I mean, the Fed's default is easy money. They want to get back to the point where they can start cutting rates and sending out easy money. That's the way they do business. That's the Fed, right? Easy money, inflate the dollar away. So they want to give out that money, but they got to get inflation under control. And I'm not making any comments as far as if any of that stuff is logical, but that's just the reality of what they're trying to do, right? They're trying to get inflation under control, and they're doing that through raising rates, raising the Fed funds rate. Well, when that stops, and they determine that, okay, we can go back to maybe neutral, and we're no longer raising the rates, and then eventually where they start cutting rates, I believe you're going to see a rebound effect, because silver has been suppressed it's going to have been suppressed for several years.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's unreasonable to think that in several years, in the next couple of years, you could have $30, $40, $50 silver. And I don't think that's saying silver is going to go to the moon. I think long term, my personal opinion is silver will prove out to be a hedge against inflation. It's just that right now we have COVID. Now we've got crazy inflation. You've got war. You've got all these different things going on that have just turned the market kind of upside down. And the things that should make sense don't make sense.
Yeah. I think two things could potentially cause a problem down the road for silver. And these are just theoretical. There's no reason to say, oh, this is happening, right? But one would be if some equally, as far as like silver's industrial uses and its conductor ability and its magnetism and all the things that it's used for, if there's something that comes up with that's cheaper to mine or produce and does the job just as well, that's bad news for silver. Now, right now, that doesn't exist, right? And then the other thing is if there was some giant deposit discovered, right? Like, so we have permafrost melting all over the planet. Of course, new ice is forming in other areas. We know that too. But if some giant deposit of silver suddenly shows up, that's also unfortunately a bad game changer for silver stackers. Again, right now that doesn't exist. There's no reason to say like, oh, that's definitely going to happen or anything like that. But in my mind, those are two things that could really kind of mess with the game.
I just don't. The only, I guess, just a counterpoint to that is that, and someone commented here that I forgot who it was. Someone commented inflation's not going away. I don't disagree with that either. But is that, like you're speaking from a rational standpoint of like, okay, but that's not how silver is traded. Mm-hmm. Silver is traded as paper. So, the dollar goes down and silver goes up. That's just the reality. So if you don't think the dollar is ever going to come down, then I think silver is a horrible place to put your money. But if you think that the Fed is going to get back to, at some point, trying to lower those rates to give out that easy money, because that's how they love to grow the economy, that's the only thing they know, that's their default, silver is going to go up. Maybe not,
So I'm going to chime in because I'm far less trusting of all of those systems. And I personally believe we will never see silver that goes back to 40 or 50 unless there is a full collapse of bank systems and everything else that is controlling that. And that's what we saw back in 2000 when silver went to 45, 46, whatever it did. That was pre-Comex. That was pre-paper silver. And that came on the scene, I think, 2012, something like that. I don't think we ever see $30+ silver until that is either completely the fraud, overrun, overhauled, unacceptable. People went to jail. They can't spoof. They can't do all the stuff that they do. Unless that happens or the whole system collapses, which I think could happen before that, I don't think that we see silver do that. Like, we all get it. The dollar weakens, silver goes up. That's right. How it should work. But we also all get that that's not what's happening. Over the last several years, the dollar continues to weaken and silver does not go up.
But it doesn't weaken, Pirate. The dollar has not weakened. You're talking about the actual dollar. You're talking about your purchasing power. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the DXY. I'm talking about trading the US dollar. I agree with you. The dollar is weakening. They're inflating everything around. We just talked about a Silverado costs 60 grand. It used to cost me 16,000, right? The dollar is weakening. But that's
beyond
different.
That inflation is everybody's handing the dollar back. As countries stop using that dollar cannot continue to strengthen. That dollar is going to only go down in value as we're getting flooded back with our $1 bills that countries say we don't use this anymore. And it's coming. There's a lot of countries signed on with the BRICS. They ain't going to be using the US dollar for any of that stuff. And that's trillions of dollars floating around in space. So
well, let me jump to this question because it kind of ties into where this conversation's going here. So Lee asked about returning to a gold and silver monetary system. That's not going to happen in the United States. Not
wait. Not Bricktown Silver is in the chat.
Bricktown, good to see you, brother.
Holy cow!
Yep.
I cannot believe it, brother Bricky.
Prepper, that will never happen because they'll be killed long before they can ever return gold and silver to the monetary system.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I was taken aback. I just saw Bricky.
Yeah, no, it's awesome to see Bricktown here, and I want to say for the record that yes, when I sent the clown to Bricktown,
that's right.
I didn't.
You killed Bricktown. I just realized you had. Wow. It's all come full circle.
I didn't think he was going to hurt anybody. I apologize.
Assassinations everywhere.
Yeah. Anyways, let's jump back to this. Okay. So this is not going to happen in the United States. And anyone who's selling this hopium, it's and you know why it's not going to happen? Because the maniacs who run this country want a system that has no accountability. They want to be able to.
But what's not going to happen? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Gold and silver.
Yeah, go to gold and silver standard.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That being said, other countries are looking at this. Russia was backing their currency with gold, and I don't know if anybody's been paying attention to the news reports about that, but their economy is not doing as bad as it should, considering what's going on right now with all the sanctions, trade limitations, and a war.
Their ruble's been up.
It's been
Their
hanging in.
ruble's actually been higher. So.
Yeah, but I mean, you got traders trading rubles. I mean, that's like traders trading silver. I mean, it's all I guess the part, and I don't really, because I don't have answers to this, but it just seems like the amount of financial manipulation that takes place out there between people trading all these futures markets. I mean, they're trading futures on everything, and it just, right? They're just gambling. Oh, they're not going to go there. It's going to work out okay. So they buy this, they buy that, or whatever. It's kind of nutty. Right, because they're not buying physical rubles.
No,
they're doing futures, and so the futures manipulation of the market is in a lot of areas is, I guess it's out of a fishy fish's pay grade, but it doesn't seem connected with reality.
It's not. Just like crypto wasn't, and I'm not trying to doge. I'm not trying to knock on that crypto. I own some crypto. I took a bath on it. Thankfully, I wasn't heavily weighted in it. I don't know if crypto is going to come back. Honestly, it's very, very questionable if it's ever going to hit the highs that it had.
Well, its big plus was they said the government couldn't touch it until Canada went and froze everybody's crypto accounts.
Yeah. So
that's a big problem for crypto to overcome.
Yeah.
That was the whole point. It was the alternative, the safe alternative, and clearly it's not what everybody built it to be. But regardless, no, gold and silver back. I think the only way we see that is if we go through full-scale war and we're in a recovery process as a fledgling nation country trying to barter for goods. I think that's so far away that it's not really in the realm of possibility.
I'm just showing this for Bricktown Silver, so he knows these are always on my desk, brother. These are always on my desk. These were the war reparations. They're on my desk right there.
Yeah, Bricktown, we miss you, man. I wish you would make more videos, but I understand if your heart's not in it anymore.
Yeah, there's no one like him. He is the legend. He is the man. He is Bricktown Silver.
I miss your stories, man. They were awesome.
Yeah.
So how
I don't miss you. I'm just kidding. I miss him too.
So Bacon asked, how are other currencies compared to the US dollar? So now currently the US dollar is still king in the world. It is the reserve currency that has the most power, which is why we get away with a lot of the stuff that we get away with.
They're working to overthrow it.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a legitimate threat to overthrow it with the BRICS countries. So I mean, population wise, they have more people. They don't have bigger economies, but that's yet, because right now our economy is taking a bath. So there is an active, mission to overthrow us and the dollar as the world reserve currency. And honestly, I think they're going to get it. So,
yeah, well,
because I don't think we have anybody in the White House fighting for us. That's my belief.
Yeah.
Not to get political all of a sudden, but I think I think we have a bad path.
Yeah, and the dollar's not really backed by anything. It's backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government, which a lot of people don't have faith in the United States government, and it's tied into the petrodollar, right? That puts some stability to it, but there's tension there. There's a lot of tension there. Eventually, we'll be moving away from petrol. How long that takes, I don't know. But that's, so where does that all go? I mean, do the three of us all agree that eventually this means they're going to the digital dollar or the CBDC?
I think that's inevitable. The CBDC gives them 100% control and calculation of everything. So I
agree with that for sure. I believe politically this country has a lot of problems. Economically, we got problems, but I'm not a doom and gloom on our country. I think there's ebbs and flows in politics and ebbs and flows in policy, and I don't see the dollar anytime soon not being the standard, in the world. And I think anytime there's a crisis, they will dump everything and go into the dollar. And I do think, though, that one day we'll be on a digital, and it is about control for sure. I agree 100%.
Yeah. How do you guys think they'll sell that to the average person? Like, how will they convince people that this is what you have to do now?
Well, I've got a theory completely 100%. In my mind, it starts off with, hey, here's a stimulus package. It's all digital. You accept this into your bank account and you get the stimulus. People that don't accept it, that's fine. After that's in place with all the banks, then I think it's forced upon, hey, convert your money, you get a bonus if you convert your money now. And then when you don't convert your money, they go, hey, all the stores only take digital money.
Yep.
And then it becomes, hey, you didn't convert your money, so we're going to confiscate your money. And then it becomes, hey, you didn't convert your money and you haven't been playing in our system, and now we're going to tax you higher every year and take what we want because we want control of that. I mean, it starts off nice and friendly of, hey, we're going to give you something. Hey, cash it in. We're going to give you a bonus. Hey, guess what? You better cash it in or it's going to become illegal. Yeah. Hey, now it's illegal and you're against the system. And I think that's exactly the playbook that's going to get followed. And I don't even think this is far out. I think this is within the next year to 2 years. So I think this happens before the next election.
Really?
Let's put that out there. I think this gets implemented before that.
So an ounce of silver on that, Pirate. Ounce of silver.
Okay.
Okay, ounce of silver on that, because there's no way it's implemented before the next election. As far as Pirate's theories, how it gets implemented, that might be right. I honestly, I would have to think about that for a while, because I think there's going to be a lot of resistance against. While I think that there will be some sort of form of a digital currency, I think, initially, I think you're going to have a hybrid system of both. Digital currency has been added, but you can still use dollars. They can't just make all the dollars go away instantly. I don't know. So I'm not sure. I really don't have a. I would have to really think about that, and I'm not sure the complexities of small town America and telling them they all have to give up their dollars and go to the local bank. I don't know. It seems a pretty complex situation, and certainly before the next election, but let me 10 ounces. So Pirate, 10 ounces on that thing. I don't
want to take your money, but let me tell you this:
a quarter ounce of gold, Pirate.
Let me tell you this: with this in 2020, how many of us went places and they refused to take cash? Oh, we don't deal in change. It's dirty. We don't take cash. It's dirty. There's still a bunch of businesses that I go to. They don't take cash at all. They never came back online with cash.
Yeah.
Currently, I just went to the big convention center here in Orlando. People from all over the world there. Cashless. Can't pay cash for parking anymore. Can't pay cash in their vending machines anymore. So this becomes a situation where they make businesses convert and everybody else follows suit, whether that's businesses getting a tax break, whether it's businesses can't get paper change at the banks anymore, whatever it is, it's much easier implemented than you would imagine. So cashless society is not far-fetched at all, in my view. And,
let it be known for the record, Pirate has changed the argument from a CBDC by the next election to a cashless system is not a difficult thing to implement.
We're on a CBDC before the next election, 100%.
Okay.
There will be a CBDC.
There's a video record of this, and you guys bet what, 10 ounces of gold?
An ounce of silver. Let's keep it friendly here. Keep it friendly.
All right. So actually, my thoughts on this is I think that when it happens, it's not if, it's when it happens. kind of agree with Pirate. What I also think will happen, though, is, and he kind of said it just a little bit different than I'm saying it, at some point it will be, I won't say illegal to own like a $20 bill, but it's just not going to be worth anything, and it's not going to be accepted anywhere. So the three of us all live in the South, right? If we go to a flea market, do you guys still sometimes see Confederate money floating around out there?
Rarely I see Confederate money here in the South at flea market. Like at some coin dealers, some people randomly will have it.
It's around.
I see it around. Yeah. It's still
How much is it worth?
Nothing. I mean, I don't even ask how much.
Confederate money is worth nothing because the Confederates lost the war.
They did.
What does that have to do with anything?
But
I can't buy nothing with Confederate money, and there'll come a point I can't buy nothing with a $20 bill.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what it is.
Yeah, but a $20 bill is still American money.
It is for now. So there's nowhere that
no banks.
Look, I got businesses right now in my own community. I know that if I go there with cash, I can't buy anything right now.
Pirate, do you think we should have warned Sarge that we debate hardcore?
I watched you guys. I know what I was getting into.
Here's what's funny. What you guys don't see is we have some fairly heated conversations. We're both very respectful of each other, and I really do think of him like a best friend. He's like a brother to me. We are polar ends of the spectrum, he and I, on many things. But the important things in our life, we're dead on.
Dead on, yeah, exactly.
Family and friendship and things that are important to us. And you know, everything that we talk about and deal with, I mean it respectful towards him, and I'm sure he means it respectful towards me too. So I mean, we have very, very varying opinions on pretty much everything.
Basically.
And hello to everybody in chat. I see a few new people popping in. Thank you so much. Appreciate everybody. So a couple of good questions here that came through too. But somebody had said earlier in the chat that, you know, younger people, like my brother's 14 years younger than me. He barely touches cash, barely at all. In fact, like if he and I go out to lunch and we want to split it and I give him cash, he's like, no, Venmo me. I don't want that. And he hasn't been into a bank in over 15 years. He says, I have no need to go into a bank. I don't need to talk to anybody. I do everything online. Doesn't use an ATM. He hardly ever touches cash at this point. So
my son's the same. Yeah. Everything is apps. Everything is a credit card or an app. And he doesn't ever carry cash ever. And like, I'm very the opposite. Like I carry around dollar coins and cash everywhere.
Yeah.
And so he grew up around that, and still that generation is very, very, oh, it's inconvenient. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. There is no concern for tracking or mistrust of government. There's none of that with the younger generation. And, you know,
I agree with that part. They're kind of a lot of the younger generation is checked out to, they're not concerned with some of the issues. But how do I say this? I'm not trying to Pirate knows I'm not some filthy rich guy or nothing like that. So I don't mean this to come off this way. But everybody I know that's got money has cash in their pocket. I don't know anywhere I go on business meetings, meeting with customers, meeting with anybody, everyone that has money that's actually not dirt poor has cash in their pockets. So I feel like, there's a whole new generation of suckers out there that could care less about having cash in their pocket or going into a bank or whatever. But those with wealth are not all digital, right? That's just, I don't see that.
I disagree. My brother has a lot more money than me. He's the vice president of a tech company. I'm not going to say which one. His net worth blows mine out of the water. He could buy and sell me about 15 times. And he doesn't touch cash.
Yeah, I don't see that. I don't see that anywhere. I mean, everyone I know has cash in their pocket.
Older people that have that $100 bill or several hundred in their wallet, but that's generational. That's older people. I don't see younger kids walking around with wallets full of cash.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I
The
don't disagree.
rappers.
I don't walk around with, wallet full of cash either. I have, I have some cash in my wallet, but not crazy. But I just don't think that. I think some of that is just not. I don't know. I guess I see cash all the time, and Pirate talks about not being able to spend cash at places. I mean, yeah, I understand, at convention centers, but that's been going on for a long time. I mean, like I go to Texas, I go to New Orleans, I go up to Chicago at convention centers. They haven't been taking cash to those convention centers for a long time. I mean, because it's just easier for the employees. But you go anywhere in Florida, for me, I spend cash everywhere.
Well,
I mean,
but
except for
what
some of those
happens when you
places.
go to your grocery store and it's easier for the employees to not take cash? I mean, it's easier for their employees to not even check me out. So it's not that hard. I mean, already half those machines only take a card anyway. Oh, you want to pay with cash, you got to use a different machine. So, I mean, how easy is it to switch those machines off from cash 100%? Like that. Super easy. Another pandemic shuts that machine off, in my mind.
I've never gone to the grocery store and then not take cash. We live in the same town, Pirate.
I know. Well, I just said, though, at Walmart, so you go to Walmart. You don't shop at Walmart. You're a Target guy, probably. But
I will not shop at Target. Are you kidding me? If I send my daughter into the bathroom, she could be in there with a man.
We go to, oh, man, I lost my power source.
No, you're still there.
But in any case, they can shut it off, and I think they will.
Yeah, they might. They might. And
we'll see what
yeah,
happens with that.
I guess the one thing about the whole digital, maybe I'm just like an idiot with this, is just like if everything is electronic, the entire world, a few EMPs, or I mean, it's just. It's hard for me to imagine a world that's nothing but purely electronic, where all your money is on a card and it's completely digital everywhere.
Hey,
that's why I sat though, right?
To know that there's already societies that are running completely digital.
Yeah, I don't.
No, there are.
I love cash. I would prefer. I do consultations for people. I work with people who are working on their therapy license. I would prefer to get paid in cash. All of my supervisees are paid electronically. I would prefer the cash. I don't look forward to this CBDC thing. I'm not an enthusiast of it or anything like that, but I see it as an inevitable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, inevitability.
Yeah. How much is the government paying you tonight, Fish, to be the voice of dissent?
I'm just saying, I'm the voice of reason, right? I'm all about stacking. I'm all about preparing. I'm just all about reality too. And like you're saying that you just bet me that cash is gone by the next election, and we're all on CBDCs. There is no way cash is gone.
Will be out before the next election. Not that cash is gone. The CBDCs will be out before the next election.
He's backtracking now.
No, that's what I heard him say. He said it would be introduced.
I didn't say cash was gone. I said CBDCs will be out before the next election.
I mean, CBDCs are basically already out now. We got XRP. What more do we need, brother?
Well, yeah, I think we're talking about an official U.S. government.
Government.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, it's. I think if it is introduced this year, 5 years from now, who knows? But I do think Pirate's right. If cash, they're not just going to like say day one we do this, day two cash is no good. Like there would be incremental steps in this. But I do think the other thing with this is, for those of us who do have a little bit of money in crypto, like, make no mistake, I feel very confident in saying this, that when the digital dollar is introduced, Hamilton coin, whatever they decide to call it, when that's introduced, there will be paired with a propaganda campaign to bury all the other cryptocurrencies.
Well, so they're already pushing that.
They're already doing that. Yeah.
They're already saying how unsafe and how predators and this and that. Yet they're the ones that pumped up old Bankman-Fried. They gave him tons of money to make that whole scandal happen. So, that propaganda wagon's already happening.
So what do you guys think about, like, so let's say that does happen, hypothetically. Let's say let's say it's 10 years down the road and cash is like all but non-existent in terms of transactions in stores and stuff, right?
Yeah.
What would you, I mean, there's always going to be black market currencies, right? We know that. So what would be the black market currency? Is this where gold and silver comes into play?
I mean, it's hard for me to just imagine that. It's hard for me to imagine that in 10 years, it will be illegal to use cash. And if it's not illegal to use cash, people will be using cash. So it's kind of hard. Pirate's a better one to answer that. I just can't see that. I mean, because I don't know. I mean, if it's illegal to use cash, so what are the, I mean, people stack for the discretion, right? You have the discretion of stacking, right? It's not on the books. Now there's no cash. So you got to go to your bullion dealer when you go to sell some, because you need what? A digital credit to your checking account that's tracked by the government. Yeah. I mean, if cash is completely illegal and just gone, I mean, stacking as we know it,
bullion dealers won't exist.
They won't. And who? I mean, it's going to be very like the value of it. I mean, in business, who's going to take your gold for a car? They're not. You know, who's going to take your gold for a house? They're not. So I just don't see. I don't quite see it in those sort of, and I'm not saying you guys are being doom and gloom. I just think there's going to be more compromise. There's going to be more of a nuanced thing to it. It's not going to be just like, boom, in 10 years, there's no cash. That would be anarchy. That is what I think. That would be crazy. I can't even imagine that. I can't even imagine if in 10 years cash was illegal. You're not allowed to have cash. It's all good.
I firmly believe in less than 10 years, cash will be illegal and gone.
An ounce of silver.
Ounce of silver. Definitely. Black market currency. In that scenario, what's the black market currency? Guns, ammo, medicine. The things that they don't want you to have. Yeah. The things that they want to have control over the populace, that if you find a workaround to eat without using their CBDCs and doing that stuff, then medicine, bullets, and guns will be the currency they don't want you to have.
You know what? Actually, Pirate, Indivisible Man in the chat just gave the most brilliant answer. I don't know why I didn't think of it. The black market currency will be currency.
I don't think so. I don't think it has the value that once it goes away, I don't think it has the value that we give it currently. So
you think once it's gone, it won't be used? Eggs. Bricktown says eggs. Eggs will be the currency.
No, eggs will. Food. Control the food, you control the population.
Yeah. If it gets to that point, I would take eggs over a $20 bill.
Everybody's talking. It keeps getting buried, but we got the bird flu. 54 million chickens killed, right? They've got 260 food distribution centers that have burned down magically in the last 2.5 years.
Right. But the question was not total anarchy in the United States. Everything's hit the fan. Like, people are answering in the chat like we're going to be trading water. Like Moto just said water, which, and I Moto, I get you. Water's important, but
food.
But what is the black market currency in a society where everything is normal? We just don't have cash. Isn't that the question you're asking, Sarge?
That's the question I'm asking. Yeah, I'm not talking about complete collapse.
So normal society, there's just no cash. You're going to trade eggs. You're going to trade water. You're going to trade gold and silver for what? If there's no cash and everything is normal and society's not in chaos, I don't know what the answer is.
So what I'm saying,
gold and silver, right? Gold and silver is the only thing that still has value.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is black market currency, right? So I'm not talking necessarily about drug deals, although for some people that would be part of that equation. And I thought it was interesting. Somebody had said in the chat that drug dealers take digital currency, by the way, too. They'll take your Venmo or whatever, if you want to pay that way.
that was banned talk. I mentioned that.
I assume that's true, right? But let's say that, you said, hey, Sarge, I want you to come over and, fix my shed for me. I don't have time to do it, right? and you and I want to do some kind of transaction. I don't want you to pay me in digital currency. Okay. We would come to some kind of arrangement. But if we got to a place where fiat dollars weren't being accepted anymore, I would not accept your fiat dollars. If we were at that point, right?
So you accept food and goods.
I would accept food, goods, ammunition, gold, silver, or just barter for a favor. Like I did you a favor. Now someday you'll pay that back. But if we got to a place where like banks you couldn't bring a $20 bill to a bank and say, put this in my account because it's no longer being used that way, then I would have no interest in taking that. I'm not saying that maybe other people wouldn't, maybe they would, people.
See, but all right. So, and you're kind of getting, I got a little fish brain. So we're getting into like stuff that I'm not too sure on, but in theory, right, in the future, if you have a $20 bill, maybe they're not issuing new ones, but you should still be able to deposit it into your bank. They're just not going to give you a $20 bill back, but they should take it and apply it, right? I mean, are they good? So I can't see them saying, hey guys, guess what? We're going to CBDCs and all your money is illegal in a year. Like, it's like, we're not going to issue new money. When you deposit it to your bank, it's going to be a while before they actually would completely say that money is worthless. That would be way down the road.
Time 100%, but the way that they have to look, they can't run both. Okay, they're not going to run both. They don't want to run both. They want to run digital, so they have 100% control to tax, to take, to freeze, to implement whatever they want to implement, and you will follow suit because they have control 100% of that money. Now, with that being the case, they're not going to freely be like, or cash is fine too, because there's a whole bunch of people that be like, F CBDCs, I'll keep running cash. They got to get rid of cash in order to make CBDCs do what they need CBDCs to do, and that's control the population, control everybody, control the flow of money, control everything. And so it's not going to be instant. They can't just say, hey, this money's no longer worthless. But I think they do institute, here's your bonus. Cash in right now, and we'll throw in an extra 10%, 20%. Why not? And then it's going to end up becoming, hey, you only got 3 more months to cash in, and it's at even money right now. Yeah. And then it's going to become, hey, cash is done. It's over with. Now yours is worthless. We're freezing whatever you got. It's done. You missed your opportunity. So that, in my mind, is the logical sound of where this heads. Well, the idea of running CBDCs and cash makes no sense. None.
Well, I'm not saying running cash. I'm just saying that you could, I just don't see them implementing CBDCs and then, boom, cash is illegal. I mean,
it'll take like a year, maybe even 2 years.
No, it's going to live way longer than that. Although the end point is at one stage, cash is gone. But so I lived in Italy, right? When they got rid of the lira and they went to the euro, that was not a year or 2 years. That was many, many years. You could still trade in your lira for euros. They didn't make lira gone in a year or 2 years. I mean,
you're missing the point of CBDCs. What's the point of CBDCs? So that they can control and tax and run all that. This isn't like they're trading it for new US dollars, and it's okay if there's some old ones floating around. We don't care. The purpose of CBDCs is to eliminate all the things they have no control over. So they're not going to let cash hang out. It's just not going to happen.
Not forever. I mean,
not forever, but not in a year, man. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. That's crazy.
The truth is probably
a year. I mean, no way.
Maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years. Who knows? How long? Yeah. So you lived in Italy. If I found, let's say, I went into grandma's attic and I found 1,000 lira. Can I still turn that in exchange for euros?
Not anymore. It was like, I don't know if there was like, because I have a whole bunch of lira from that I took back with me, and I was wondering, like, I wonder if this stuff is still.
Somebody look how long that lasted, because I bet you that conversion was probably less than 5 years.
No, okay, an ounce of silver, an ounce of silver on that one for sure. I looked it up, so I know you're wrong there. An ounce of silver.
We need
5 years
in the chat now. We need.
I need verification. Fish is laying fish years on me, and it's not the same as human years.
Yeah, or Austrian Stacker could come in handy here too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know where he is now.
All right, well, okay. So when was the euro implemented?
Oh shoot, I could look it up. Hang on. You guys keep talking.
Okay, I just looked it up. That was in 1999.
Okay.
Okay. So when was the Italian lira faded out? Okay, hold on. Okay, let's see. Here we go.
Riveting. Everyone's on the edge of their seats.
Yeah,
give us a number.
You had till February 28th of 2012. Pirate owes me an ounce of silver. That's 13 years.
That wasn't a bet either.
Oh my God! If I say an ounce of silver, that's a binding contract.
But again, they're not doing a cash to cash transfer. This is a cash to digital. And digital has
I understand. I know it's the control, and I'm with you. Like everything you're saying as far as why they're doing it, what the ramifications are going to be, all of that, I'm 100% with you. I'm just not quite with you on the severity of how quickly it's going to happen and some of that stuff. But the overall concepts, we agree on everything. We agree on that.
And we can disagree. You're just wrong on this one.
Exactly. But on this one,
I'm just
on the lira.
I get that I'm an out there guy. Listen, I'm a prepper. My dad was a constitutionalist. I have a skepticism of government, and all that has ever done for me has proved me to be right.
Yeah.
That my skepticism was warranted. So when I look into this stuff and I prepare for it, I run these scenarios of what makes sense. This isn't like just a ho-hum, this or that. This is a reason to prep something. Hey, why might I need this? Well, this could happen. Check it out. It's happening now. Things are happening that may make this a pertinent prep. So this is all, it's not that anyone's wrong. It's just these are avenues that I run as an avid prepper, and I know most people aren't like that. And I know that this falls under that big conspiracy umbrella.
No,
it's not though. Saying that until these things keep coming true.
But like the things you're saying are a conspiracy. I think everyone, for the most part, that's in the chat and the three of us, we all pretty much agree on the general premise of everything you're saying. I only disagree on the severity of how quickly some of this stuff is going to be implemented, and maybe the how well they'll be able to fully implement some of this stuff. But I don't disagree with a lot of what you're saying. Just the stuff that I'm right about.
Timelines.
I think that the timelines is probably where the three of us all have different opinions on, and unfortunately we'll find out at some point, because this is happening. This is going to happen within our lifetime. This is going to happen probably. I'm going to differ from Pirate here a little bit. I think 5 to 10 years is what I'm guessing, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was sooner than that, because already, POTUS is talking about it and pushing for it. So it's a question of how ready are they to do this? MIT's been working on the Hamilton coin for a while now. Is it ready to go? And they're just not telling us because they don't have a way to fully put all the infrastructure in for this yet. I don't know. Anybody know anybody at MIT that can give us that answer?
Well, I mean, in my mind, they're not reinventing the wheel. I think that cryptocurrency in general has given them a footprint of what it is they want to do and what they need to do to be able to control, manipulate all of those things. So I don't think it's a matter of they're trying to reinvent the wheel. I think they're just making their version of it that gives them all the capabilities that they want.
So do you guys, do both of you, like Sarge, Pirate, do you believe that there are no patriots left in government that are willing to fight against some of this stuff when it comes to the control aspect of it? Because or is it just left or right? It doesn't matter. It's just going to get rolled through, and they're going to become China, where we're going to become China, where they monitor all of your stuff based upon your expenditures and social credits and all this nonsense.
So I personally believe that they have all been bought and paid for. And the issue is they can't speak out because either they get thrown out and now they can do no good, or like, I think there is patriots. There's guys I like that if the right circumstances came about, I believe they would put their ass on the line for this country. But I also believe they know that whoever does that's going to get hung because we don't have the power or the backing to fight it. Yeah. And that's the problem right now. So I think everybody's bought and paid for. Everybody's doing the same dance they're told to do. Otherwise, if they don't play ball, they get ousted. That's where
my opinion on this, Fish, is there's not enough of them that can make a difference at this point.
No.
I worked on I met Tulsi Gabbard and I worked on her campaign when she was running for president. And Tulsi, I don't agree with everything Tulsi said by a long shot. But Tulsi is a speaker of truth, and she called out corruption in the system. And what happened to her? They slandered her. Some of the most powerful people in the Democratic Party slandered her with lies. And it doesn't matter if it's true or not. That. It doesn't matter. All you have to do is start a headline with somebody with high influence. And so they slandered her with lies, derailed her campaign. And then once she was out of the picture, it was like, okay, she's not a problem anymore. And so Pirate's right. Either you play ball or you're out.
So I got a question. Dragon Slayer just made a comment that he says we need each state to begin now to back the state GDP with gold, blah, blah, blah. So, but aren't there laws now? Like, are there any states that are? I thought like some of the states like Utah and Wyoming. Are there some states that have some gold and silver laws that they're putting on the books?
Utah, I believe, is Democrat run at this point. I think their last new guy isn't even Republican.
But aren't there? I have to look into that. I'm not knowledgeable enough.
I want to say that I think Idaho is a state that has something going on with gold, where they actually have people buy, like communities that buy and sell in gold, and it's like a favorable thing there. I think there are some states that are trying to work stuff with that, but I don't think there's any states that have the outright. I think they have the authority, but I think it's a gray area. I don't think anybody.
But how does it relate to, like, as far as not not paying taxes on currency, right? So how does that relate to CBDCs and like you buy and you sell gold? I mean, if it's like in there's states where you don't pay tax on it because it's legal tender.
Well, listen, if cash goes away, gold and silver are next because it's an alternative to cash.
Well, that's what I'm getting at is that, what I'm saying? I mean,
well, just for the record, I want to put this out on YouTube on video that all of my gold and silver has been given away to homeless people in the Charleston area.
Well, okay. Since I lost all of mine today putting against Pirate on the 18th hole, I lost it all. So.
And I do want to say I have all 3 ounces of silver. True.
Yeah, you won my 3 ounces.
So, we go all day long on this one. I want to get this message out, and it's really the only message I care about. Silver and gold is fun. Numismatics, also fun. I think that they have a big place in my portfolio and insurance for me and my family. But they take a backseat to prepping and being prepared for the unknown. And when I say prepping, I mean medical, food, all of the above, and tools, equipment. That stuff to me is more valuable than any cash, any gold and silver, anything. And if you are in a position that you can get a food storage put away, start with 3 months, bump it to 6, do a year. Like you just won't regret it. And that's all I want to say. I mean, I think all of us here, we look at gold and silver and we go, if it's bad enough, would I buy food with gold and silver to feed my family? 1000%. But if it's that bad, it's going to be not only risky to do that, there's going to be a lot of people with food that are going to be like, I don't want your gold and silver. I want my food. And that becomes tough times. So I know we all think, well, if I got gold and silver, I got what I need. Truthfully, if you've got guns and ammo, you've got what you need. But everything else is equally as important. So that's all. Please prep.
Absolutely. All right. Yeah, we should wind this one down. Fish, what would you have some final thoughts on all of this? Any recommendations for the audience?
I think I mean, I'm into diversification, so stick to the basics. You know, you need some cash. I know we're talking about cash going away, whatever, but right now cash is still around. You need some cash. You know, having your base savings is important. And I think metals is a great way if you're someone who struggled with savings. Metals are a great way to go. And you know, but if you're going to get into metals, low premium. That is my thing. Low premium. Don't go after that high premium stuff. The only way you're going to make it back is peer to peer. And if you're stacking for some sort of prepping purposes, when everything hits the fan, all that premium's gone anyways. So, you know, it's just stack it. And yeah, I guess that's all I have to say. My mind's kind of blown in all this CBDC. So I don't even really get into. I don't really. Pirate and I sometimes go down rabbit holes with these conversations, but really, it's kind of like, I don't know. I just don't have the same sort of outlook, I guess, that you guys have. So,
okay,
I agree with you guys
yeah.
on a lot of it. I just don't quite see the doom and gloom, you know.
But I wanna reiterate, there is no wrong or right. You do what's best for you and your family, and you make those decisions off what you know and what you feel. So I don't ever, you know, it's not my way or the highway. It's my way for me. This is my thoughts and beliefs, and I'm comfortable with where I'm at. And Fish is the same. That's his thoughts, and he's comfortable with where he's at. Hopefully, the hope is that down the road, we all get enough information that we're able to make those decisions that we need to make responsibly when the time comes. So that's the hope, you know.
Yeah, and again, you know, my channel is never about financial advice. I agree with what you guys are saying. It's, you know, I give people my thoughts on what I'm doing, what my strategy is, but ultimately everybody out there has to do their own due diligence and be responsible for yourself. And that includes how you save, how you spend, whether you choose silver and gold or a cash savings or both, which I think is a fantastic idea. And I'm also fond of, I do a lot of dividend producing blue chip stocks, and I've had really good luck with that. So diversification again kind of comes up. But yeah, food is a very important one, a way to purify water, a way to store water. And then you can always build out from there. You know, don't go after like the fancy knives first if you're getting into prepping. That you'll have time for that. Yep, exactly. So you'll have time for that.
Let me hold the knife up. So
Fish, put yours back in there. All right. Let me round this one out. I want to say, number one, thank you again to the mods, everybody in chat, some great discussion. And I don't know if you guys maybe weren't able to monitor it, you should check it out, the replay later on, because there were some good conversations in chat too.
Was there like 3 people watching? Because I feel like we probably bored people to death tonight.
No, we were averaging around 25 for most of it.
Oh, well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty solid. It was steady. It was around 25 or so the whole time.
Yep.
Nice.
So thank you to chat, thank you to mods, and especially thank you to Fish and Pirate. Really appreciate you guys. This was a blast. I hope you guys want to do this again, because I definitely want to have you guys back on again.
I do, man. In a year, and Fish can give me that silver on video.
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed it. Sarge, thanks for having us on. Pirate is my sidekick in life as it relates to YouTube and just a lot of other things. So anytime he's on somewhere, I want to be with him, and we have a good time together. And this was awesome, and I'd be glad to come back whenever.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thank you very much.
So what is it? Have a good time. We're going to call this one a wrap. This was a fun chat, guys. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. Make sure you spend time with your loved ones. Don't forget to spend time with your pets, too. They're only with us.
Oh, wait, Sarge.
Yeah. There you go.
Right there. There she is.
Yeah. Yeah,
She's
Fish has
famous.
his dogs on his videos a lot. So if you like dogs, you're definitely going to like that.
Yeah.
And Pirate, were you
got
going
a
to say
big
something?
cat, but he's in the other room.
You got a big cat?
We really are different in every way. Have a great night, guys. Thanks for
Have a
having
good
me
night,
on.
everybody.
Okay. All right. Later.